If someone tires, their breath support isn't doing most of the work, because your larynx up here, and you figure your see if I can get it in here. Your vocal cords are only about that big, about the size of your thumbnail. So they're about an inch long. So it's very small ligaments and musculature. I figure the muscles around that are even smaller. They're not really used to doing. They're not made to do a lot of heavy lifting. If someone tires, they're basically not using enough breath support. Their body isn't doing the bulk of the work. Up here should be very, very little work, and it should basically just be the vessel to resonate the sound that's being created by the body, really. I mean, I can sing for 4 hours and not tire. I can do 3-hour shows and not tire, 3 sets of each an hour, and not tire. That's because the bulk of my singing is coming from my body, which is bigger musculature, it's bigger thing. That can take a lot of heavy lifting and a lot of constant muscle movement. Up here is really just, I give my students this particular analogy, and that is basically think of a guitar half stack, with an amp head on top and a speaker on the bottom. Switch that around, where the speaker's on the top and the amp head is on the bottom. That's basically your body. This is your guitar head. This is your power head. This is where all the power comes from.
Yeah.
Up here is basically just the speaker.
Yeah.
So if you're trying to do all of your power from up here, you're going to tire really quick. I used to be that way. 40 minutes and I was toast. I was done. When I didn't know what I was doing. I could only sing for about 45 minutes and I was done. But once I learned a proper breath support and to be as relaxed and as open up here as possible, my stamina just grew and grew and grew. And now I can just sing for hours on end and it doesn't bother me.
So Kevin, do you have what's your 3 tips to actually, if someone has that problem and they want to just be able to sing longer and practice breath support and relax?
Yeah, sure. One, start practicing some breath support techniques. And I have some of those on my YouTube channel, if people want to check that out. Breath support stuff, some breath, learning how to kind of hold longer breath for a longer period of time. That's one. 2, make sure that you're not singing with a lot of tension up here. This should basically feel relaxed and open. When I'm singing, most of the time, I almost don't feel anything up here at all, except the vibration of sound going through my mouth. Yeah. There's no tension in my neck. Third tip is basically try to sing for longer periods of time. The only way you can get stamina to be able to sing for longer periods of time is actually just to try to sing for longer. If all you're ever singing is 45 minutes, let's say your band is only opening for, people and whatever, and you're only singing for doing opening slots for 40 minutes, 45 minutes, and all of a sudden you get a headline show and you got to do an hour and a half. You've never sung for an hour and a half, so you have to be able to, you have to just basically start practicing singing longer and longer and longer. It's how does anyone go from, running 1 mile to 3 miles? Sooner or later, he's got to start running 3 miles. He may not make it, but you have to try. And sooner or later, that 3 miles becomes easier, and then you can run for 5 miles, and it's basically just building stamina in the body. And the only way you can do that is by actually just trying to sing for longer.